Hey, how y'all doing today? Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit about scopes and scope shadow and things like that. We've came a long way since iron sights, but believe me, iron sights. Once you learn iron sights, uh, they're just as effective as a scope out to a certain distance. I mean, our eyes are a limiting factor, and a scope helps us cheat. So there's different ways. They came so far with optics in the past 10 years. It's just unbelievable what they've done with optics. With all that being said, there's always been companies out there that have made a solid scope. And you have the Unertal Manufacturing Company. Leupol's been out for a long time. Some of the old Redfield target scopes and some of the old Weavers and even some of the Tascos, these were quality optics. And we put, I have found that there are two different types of people. There are people who will buy $1,000 rifle and put a $200 scope on it because they spent all their money on the rifle. And I have found people that will buy a $200 rifle and put a $1,000 scope on it. I'll trust, if I'm big on optics. If you're going to put optics on a rifle, make sure they're good ones. Buy the best you can afford. There used to be an old guy that used to do hunting shows. I can't remember his name. He was always too hyper for me to watch, but it was a lot of good. Uh, I can't remember his name, but anyway, his big thing was buy a rifle and use that rifle and be accustomed to that rifle and all of its little clicks and things, And nowadays, people have a plethora of guns to hunt with. And I think maybe that hurts us sometimes because we don't get used to one rifle. But back into optics, I get on a rabbit trail. It's awful. But back to optics. When you're using an optic, and I don't care if it's a 12 power, if it's a 3x9, I am actually pretty big on a straight power scope. Most people are not. They like that option. I don't like anything. I don't like change at all. So if I'm running even my variable power scopes, I very seldom ever change the power on them. And the reason for that is eye relief, muscle memory. While when I shoulder a rifle, I don't want to have to adjust my head forward or back because that makes everything different in my book. Maybe I'm wrong. But anytime you change where your eye is on the scope, it will change the point of impact. Maybe so slightly that you don't even notice, but it will change it. I know while I'm squirrel hunting, if I'm aiming up into a tree and I'm on my tiptoes, I'm trying to get around a branch or something like that, you'll have a tendency to pull your head one way or the next or up or down. You're trying to worm that bullet around a branch or something. That usually results in a miss when that happens. And the reason is you'll either miss the target or you'll cut a branch in two on the way. And I've gotten to where I've shot enough now to where you can hear that bullet strike something other than what you're going after, and you've missed before the bullet even got there. I've had people tell me that's impossible, but it's not impossible. Anybody that's shot a shotgun enough knows with an automatic shotgun, the more you shoot that gun and the more used to it you get, you can hear the shotgun work, the chonk, chonk, chonk. Same thing with a rifle. You're going to get used to all of its noises. So with a scope and scope shadow is what I'm trying to focus on today. So scope shadow is when your eyeball is not centered into the scope and you're going to get a dark spot off of one corner down here, maybe up here, and the scope shadow will come in the opposite of the way you're moving your head. If you move your head this way, the scope shadow is going to be down to if you move your head to the right, your scope shadow is going to be on the left. Same goes with any direction. If your eyeball's too high up, it's going to be on the bottom. So center your eye into your scope, and it will make your group shrink, which is what we're all about. We're all about getting that beautiful one-shot group. We went crazy with this whole minute of angle accuracy, minute of angle this, minute of angle that. And that's all fine, well, and good. But if you zero a scope and it's shooting great, and then you get in the woods and you've got your eyeball, and it's not centered, that could make maybe even a couple of inches difference. So if you're trying to shoot something with a smaller target, like you're trying to, you got that doe that's looking at you and she's in a bunch of weeds, and you're wanting to put one where the money is, and you may miss, which I'd rather have a miss than a cripple. We've talked about that too many times. So I'm going to attempt to put the camera up to a scope and show you scope shadow. And maybe it'll help someone. I hope it does. Everything I do on this channel, I want to help people shoot better. And shooting better means more game on the table. I don't necessarily see more game than any of the rest of the next hunter. I don't think I have a better spot to hunt than the next hunter. I think a lot of times my game comes from the fact that I don't miss a lot. And that's not bragging or anything. I have worked on this a lot over the years. I'm getting to the age now where I'm lazy. I do not like to track game. I do not like game to run off. I want it to die right there where I shoot. And I think that's just part of it's laziness. Part of it's just wanting to be effective in the woods. And I want everybody to be more effective in the woods, whether you hunt on state ground, maybe you lease. Especially if you lease, you're already spending money by the time before you even shoot a deer, you've already spent the money to kill that deer. So I don't see why people would want to go all slam bang and I don't understand a lot of that, but each to their own. I'm not here to judge how you hunt. I'm just trying to help you hunt better, be a better marksman in the woods, because it will put, we all want to have that season where we buy a box of 20 rounds for our rifle. If we kill 3 deer, then we want, then there's 17 left in the box. That's awesome. I know a feller that kills squirrels, and a lot of times out of a box of 100 shells, he may kill 90 or more squirrels with that one box of 100 shells with his 22. So that's pretty good shooting. And I've always strived to be more like that. If I kill 5 squirrels, I want to shoot 5 times, 4 if I can. So I'll get off but we'll try to look through the scope, and I'll try to give you an example of scope shadow. And I'm going to over exaggerate it a little bit, so that way we understand what I'm talking about. So you get a little shaky here. I'm going to try to be the best I can. Okay, so here's my awesome setup is a roll of paper towels on top of a book, on top of a dryer. The book is Swamp Fox. If you're looking for a good book to read, that's a really good one. It's about the American Revolution. I'm trying to find, there we go. Okay, so we got a picture in the scope, and if I move the camera up, you'll see the shadow in the top. And if I move it down, you'll see it come in from the bottom. Side, side. So that's scope shadow. It's very simple. Cut out your scope shadow, and you will have a better group on paper, and you'll shoot better in the woods. So much of shooting is muscle memory and being accustomed to that one gun. Everybody has that one gun that they shoot better than all the rest of them. It seems like that's the one you grab. For some unknown reason, it's always the one that you bought for next to nothing. I have a shotgun that I basically got for a song and a dance, and that's what I take hunting with me all the time when I rabbit hunt, and it just works for me. And then I've got my favorite squirrel rifle, of course, and but it's because I shoot that rifle more and that shotgun more. I'm used to them. I know exactly what I need to do. I know when I miss when I squeeze the trigger a lot of times before the shot or the bullet even gets to the target. I know I've missed. And you just have to be honest with yourself. That's where you hear some people, when they're hunting, they come down on a rabbit, you'll hear them 2 shots. Boom, boom. I mean, it sounds almost like it was the same shot. And a lot of those people that you're hunting with, they know when they've missed as soon as they pull the trigger. When you're dove hunting, dove hunting is frustrating at first until you learn how to kill doves. But hopefully this helps somebody out. Scope Shadow will make you have a looser group. Just by cutting out Scope Shadow, I'm gonna venture to guess you could probably cut your groups in half. So if you have a rifle that is out of the box warranted for minute of angle accuracy, we wear that term out nowadays, but if a minute of angle at 100 yards is 1 inch, so if you've got that rifle and they've warranted it to be minute of angle and the best you can get is 2-inch groups, maybe, God forbid, it be us. Accuracy is the capability of the rifle. Marksmanship is our capability to shoot that rifle to its best capabilities. So you all have a good one. I hope everybody has a good new year, and just be safe and be careful out there. And there's a lot of other hunting opportunities after, deer season goes out. There's predator hunting, and we'll get into some of that later on. I do predator hunting in a very simple manner as well. I don't predator hunt. I don't claim to be some big predator hunter, but it still all boils down to marksmanship. No matter what you do in the woods, I don't care if you're using a rifle, a slingshot. If you're using a bow and addle, it all boils down to marksmanship. And that all boils down to muscle memory. But Scope Shadow is definitely one thing out there that will help you make a smaller group and put the lead where it belongs. Thanks a lot.